speaking, and welcome to this video. Right, another update on my pod, and I've done loads of work, made some fantastic progress. I'm just about to show you that, but first of all I thought I would I'd run through sort of my thought process and how I got to the end results. So I think that's just as interesting as seeing the work that's finished, is actually working out how someone got to that state. So yeah, I'm going to do that. So first of all, I'll start with the base. I continued with the base here, and I basically put a few little dots on the tentacles. Now they're not perfect, they're not perfectly placed or perfectly sized, but compared to my fine cast venom throats that I've got, these are amazing. Because those venom throat tentacles I had, they were awful casts, holes in them and just terrible. But anyway, the reason why I did this was because the paint scheme I'm going to have is basically black tentacles with yellow tips. And I thought to break the black tentacles up, it would be good to have a few yellow spots and dots around the tentacles, a bit like on the Gene Stealers where they've got these dots. So I thought that would just add a little bit of colour to the base. So that is the work I've done on that. Now to the pod. So this is one of my other pods. I'm going to show you my finished sections in a minute, but I'm just going to run over the conclusions. So first of all, thank you for everyone's suggestions and comments on the previous videos about option 1 and 2. Now, I don't know if you recall, I did say that I wasn't actually sure myself about either of those options. I just didn't think they looked right. Just to recap, I had these little guns, and I was looking at either putting them on the top with a little section, if I can find it. Here we go. The hive node on the top, or potentially just have the hive node there and have these coming out of these sections. It's pretty unanimous. Everyone thought that was the better of the two, and I totally agree with that. Having said that, I think I've come up with an option 3, which is even better. Now, I was having another look at the actual Mini, and I concluded that the guns actually were quite a bit lower than I was looking at when I had them sort of coming out of this section. They were actually quite lower, and I thought that actually is quite a good idea, because it would leave this top section alone and allow me to place the guns downwards. Now on top of that, I wanted to magnetise these guns on because, well, for storage basically. So I was going to magnetise them. Now I thought if I put them lower, I'm going to have to start drilling holes in here and putting magnets and stuff. So I had the idea, sort of a bit of a light bulb moment while I was cycling to work, about putting well, basically one of these little holes like here, but here, and actually have the whole section magnetised. So basically a green stuff section, and then the guns can be magnetised into the holes. Now I thought that would work really well, so I did a bit of a test run with some blue tack, and I was very happy with how it was looking, so I went ahead and did it. So let me show you what I've done. Here we go. So yeah, I basically put some green stuff on. You can see they're very evenly spaced out. Now my original idea was to sort of mould these inwards so that it looks like one of these, but once I started doing it, it didn't quite look right. So in the end I went for this, a totally different concept to the rest of the pod, where effectively I've got this dotted effect on. Now these are going to be black anyway, and I should be able to just paint over these black without too many issues, and then probably just revarnish it. And as you can see, I've put a magnet there. I've also drilled a hole out of the guns, and these guns now are magnetised. So let me just get this going for you. You can see it. And that one. Right. Okay, so let's put it onto here, and that is how it's looking. Pretty cool, I think. It certainly does the job, and the fact that I've left this top section alone, I think it looks a lot better. Now I've taken this one step further with the gun options. I've actually put the Death Spitter options as well. So I've got the big gun there, plus I've magnetised on some Death Spitters. So not only do I have them magnetised, but I've got both weapon options, like so. So that is how it looks with the Death Spitters. So really happy with that. I think it's come out really well. The only issue that I have now is the height of this thing. Again, a bit of research, because obviously I've never seen the original model, but I've seen a picture online with the original model up against an Army Painter canister. So I have one of those, and there it is. So as you can see, I'm about an inch short, roughly, on the height. I'm not sure I'm too bothered, but I have been working on a potential solution, just a few ideas. So at this stage, I'm really happy how it looks. And to be fair, I could probably just paint those bits up and say, job done. But I just want to explore the possibilities of making this a little bit taller and see if I can actually find a solution that will work. So let me show you some of the ideas that I've been running through. Now first of all, actually going back slightly, I did come up with the idea of making some little tentacles so that I could potentially have them in these sockets, like so. So if in the future there's no guns on these things, I could just magnetise on some tentacles. I've also had the idea of getting some bigger tentacles and making some of these green stuff blobby things down the bottom, so I can have some tentacles like coming out the bottom, just like the original Mini. That's just aesthetics, and I don't know that I'm going to go that far, but that is an option. I could potentially do that. Let me know in the comments if you think it's really worth the effort. I mean, it's a lot more effort to do. I still think it looks pretty cool how it is, but I don't know, maybe it's worth it. Bearing in mind I've got a lot of these to make, so I want to keep it as simple as I can. And then I had the first option of, well, how about just putting a few tentacles, which is, I think I had a few comments. Now obviously these aren't going to stay in there, but I did have a few comments about maybe having tentacles coming out the top, and although obviously they'd be better than that, that would potentially give me my little extra height, just having a few tentacles coming out the top. So that was option one. Okay, so I hope you're keeping a note of these, because there's quite a few different options. So option one is to have just a few tentacles coming out the top. Option two is a suggestion I had from Aceface. He suggested using these Carnifex backs. Now in the Carnifex box you get 3 of these, so I do have 2 spare. Now if I go down this route, it would mean I'm going to have to get a lot more of these. I'm sure there's some floating around on eBay and stuff, because like I said, you get 3 in the pack. Now I've been playing with these quite a lot, from having like this to this, putting them into the hole at the top. Let me just get some blue tack. So these actually look pretty cool. It's just finalising exactly how I'm gonna have them, but potentially I could have them like a funnel idea like that. So it looks like a crown there though. Thought about having it that way, but how did I have it? Oh yes, if I blue tack, well, glue them eventually, but if I do it like this, where are we? Do it this way, like that, then it would fit in quite nicely like that. Or the other way round, like that, which potentially I think is the better option. Looks pretty cool. Don't know if it matches with the model that well. Maybe I could do that and then also have some tentacles coming out. Again, bearing in mind that whatever I put on the top I'm going to have to magnetise, because in my case this is the perfect height for storage, so whatever goes on the top's got to be magnetised. Okay, so that's option 2. something were there. So option 2 is either A, this way, or B, this way. Right, okay. Led me on to my very, very original idea. This is option 3, and that is this section here. Now this is from my Tyranid defense line, and although this piece itself doesn't really fit in here very well, you know, just one of those just looks silly. I'm actually thinking that if I had, well, because my original idea is to cast this and maybe have it a bit smaller, and I've been experimenting with just a bit of blue tack, but if you can imagine, I cast them that sort of height and then have 2 of them together, I could then potentially have that in the top. That would give me a little bit of extra height, and just finish it off nicely without it being, you know, too over the top. So that's option 3. Now that led my thinking to, how about if I've got some Tyranid bits that I could use for there. And then I came to see in my bits box I have a lot of these venom cannons. I've been experimenting with like 2 venom cannons, 3 venom cannons, and then maybe just having them in the top. That certainly will give me my height, but I think it looks a bit funny. It just doesn't look very organic. I have dismissed that one, but I will put it in there. So that is option 4. So if you'd like that option, let me know. And then finally option 5, which I think is my favourite so far. After I did that and realised that they didn't look very organic, I had another look and I found some devourers, and just blue tacked them onto there, and if I figured I could basically magnetise them on like that, that gives me my extra height, and potentially looks pretty cool. Looks fairly organic. So yeah, that's option 5. So lots of options there, let me know. As I said, I may just leave it like it is. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'm very happy with what I've done with the guns. I think that looks brilliant. Let me know if you think different, but yeah, I'm happy with it. It's just a case now, is it going to be necessary to raise the height? Now, arguably, yes, I could potentially raise this up, but yeah, I don't have any tubes long enough. I've already done the tentacles, and to be fair, it would look too tall, really. I don't think it looks right. I think I've got the right height on the actual pod itself. So yeah, that is where I'm up to. A bit of a long video, sorry about that, but hopefully you've enjoyed you know, hearing how I've come to all these conclusions, because it's all part and parcel of the final results. Okay, that's it for this video. Look forward to your comments, and as always, thanks for watching.